Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram 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 Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai
Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Hari Om to everybody. Hari Om. Pranam, pranam, pranam. Yesterday, we were trying to dwell on how to become one with Him. No? It is not a subject for discussion, but since we have only one vehicle called the mind, we are trying to dwell upon it so that the mind can transform itself and really take up the journey. Because not by academics we will be able to become one with Him, because He is past thoughts, He is beyond thoughts. So any effort to become one with Him with the vehicle of thought is ridiculous or paradoxical. But at the same time, since we don't have any other medium, we try to dwell upon it with the help of the mind, the thought, and then each one will try in their own way to proceed further. Is that clear?
Yes, Swamiji.
Huh?
Yes, Swamiji.
That means by hearing this or going through this, we may not be able to. It has to be done by oneself. Absolutely, it is purely an individual's inward journey. But we are equipping the mind to disappear. No? We are trying to make the mind aware of its limitation and then make us to enter into the experiential realm. So in that context, among the various tools the mind employs, one quotation of Papa, we feel, if we dwell with the mind, probably it will help us to go beyond the thought level. There could be so many. So he says, try to enter into the mysterious origin of your and the world life. Try to enter, not discuss, not read. This should be we should dwell on it intently. try to enter into the mysterious origin of your and the world life. To know who you are in reality is the real quest. To arrive at this truth, you have to, by a systematized process of thought and discipline, next word is very important, transcend all human limitations set by the body, mind, intellect, and then, embarking on the realm of the spirit, realize your immortal, changeless, blissful nature. Previously, we were satisfied with reading. Now the entire thing becomes more and more clear. He says, try to enter into. How to enter? Not intellectually grasping, not by doing any ritual bodily, not by any other exercise by the mind and intellect, because he said transcend. No? To know who you are in reality is the real quest. Yesterday in Vivek Chudamani, Swami Ranganathanji beautifully made us aware, all these are intellectuals. There are two eyes in me, the eye, the individual, and the witness of the eye. So one clue, to go a little more inward. So after hearing this, we pause for a moment. And some experiment. We do that to separate, sift. Yesterday, that's the word used. SIFT, sift. The small eye and the big eye. Okay. So to arrive at this truth, you have to, by a systematized process of thought and discipline. Just because we hear a lecture, no. It is a course which we have taken up with all perseverance. Because we are trying to understand the fundamental truth. When he prompted somebody to tell us that the topic should be how to become one with him. Wonderful. It is for that purpose we have been drawn by Papa to this ashram. It is because of that purpose only Papa is trying to go. You have come here, okay, you have gone through many of the birds of saints. You have been doing so many disciplines. Everything is all right, but now we should consolidate, just like when we do the churning. A stage comes when the butter slowly gets separated from the curd, and then it will be in different parts, and with that, churning material, you try to consolidate, the various parts into one and into a ball, so that we should know whether our churning has brought out that experience in us. We might be getting a glimpse of that experience during our experiment. We might be able to observe such things. For a split second, we would have become in that ecstatic moment. Everything is all right. Now the time has come for us to consolidate our earnings. Consolidate our earnings and then trying to become. That's why he said systematized process of thought and discipline, transcend all human limitations set by the body, mind, intellect, and then embarking on the realm of the spirit. The one with whom now we started to become one with him, We have to set that process. It is not correct to say that we have to set that process. Anyway, I hope everybody has understood what is meant. The sense of individuality tries to understand the source from which, because of which it exists, and so it makes a start, it makes a beginning, and then beyond that it cannot be expressed, because who is there? No? So this should be very, very clear. So in that context, Papa gave us so many thoughts, because again the mind will again play its tricks. So we try to put a fence to the mind not to go beyond this topic. Our aim is to become one with him. So the hurdle is the thought. So the thought has to be trained in such a way that its every move helps us to move toward the source. So the first step is to ensure that it doesn't go out of this realm. Papa is prompting so many thoughts. We will just read it out with this background. Is that background clear to everybody?
Yes, sir. Yes, Swami. Yes, Swami.
Once again we will repeat. He prompted somebody to say that what is meant by becoming one with him. So that is the instrumental cause for taking an inward journey to him. And then, in order that we become very clear about this journey, he makes us to go through his own quotation, try to enter into the mysterious origin. Here, please, we want to make it very, very clear. It is not reading or understanding. He did not say try to know. He did not say try to contemplate. He did not say try to meditate. He did not say try to understand. But he said try to enter. Try to enter into the mysterious origin of your and the world life. First our life and then the world life. Our individual life, origin of our individual as a person, and then the world before us. To know who you are in reality is the real quest. The assumed individual, as understood intellectually, that it owes its origin to something else and it cannot therefore arrogate itself as the absolute authority. That is very clear to all of us. So, but who we are, we have no idea. Because both these, the awareness of the indwelling reality and the pursuing sense of individuality, if we don't understand them, it will be difficult. Because the moment the sense of individuality comes, we become unaware of the indwelling reality. The sense of Hari and immediately we will remember Kabir's bhajan. Jab Hari tha Mai nahi. So that is very clear to us. The moment the sense of individuality comes, we become unaware of the indwelling reality. So at the same time, we know, at least the mind has been taught so many things by which it knows that the sense of individuality cannot exist independently. Something is there, we are not clear. So this is the pursuit, where the sense of individuality becomes one with the indwelling reality. This is the final culmination of our spiritual journey. So, to know who you are in reality is the real quest. To arrive at this truth, you have to, by a systematized process of thought and discipline, because every thought and discipline should be zeroed to this ideal. Probably Papa would have added these words because he must have been experiencing or he must have been observing in us that we get stuck with the thought and discipline. So every time we should be reminded that thought and discipline are meant for reaching thee, becoming one with him, becoming one with him. Otherwise, there is a likelihood that we may get stuck with the thought and discipline. And then, in order that we don't commit that mistake, he uses the word transcend. Transcend all human limitations set by the body, mind, intellect. And then embarking. So as a first step towards it, we have been chanting Ramnam, we have been doing bhajan, we have been trying to lead as much righteous as possible in our life. We have been trying to understand the words of wisdom of masters. But the question still remains, do we feel that we are making a move to become one with him? And when I start moving in that direction, there is every likelihood that the mind may play its trick of taking us out again. So to ensure that the mind does not go away from this topic first, and to get itself concretized in this, stabilized in this pursuit, we have to put a fence whereby the mind is again coming. If at all the thought arises, the thought again dwells upon this cardinal principle of becoming one with him. With that intention, he now tries to bring out so many words. Ekam Sat Vipraaha bahuda vadanti. The truth is one, the wise express it variously. The truth stands for the origin of our and the world life. To seek this truth, Srimad Bhagavad Gita comes to our aid as an infallible guide. Mother Gita then leads all aspirants to the origin of everything, the realization of which is the only answer to connect everything and everybody. The main hurdle that obstructs this instrument is the dominance of the sense of individuality, which makes us oblivious of the truth. Sense of individuality is not bad. Sense of individuality we did not ask, he gave us. None of us need to think that sense of individuality is a burden to us. No. Sense of individuality has been given to us to enjoy his presence. But unfortunately, we lost the track. We did not think about him. So that is why he said, the dominance of sense of individuality. That is the one which makes us oblivious of the truth. Here by the word sense of individuality, what is meant is the identity we cling to that separates us from everything else, expressing in the form of rights and wrongs, likes and dislikes, preferences and priorities, desires, craving, fixed notions, etc. So when Papa said systematized thought and discipline, to rein these, that is the discipline. To take control of all these things. Rights and wrongs, likes and dislikes, preferences, priorities, desires, cravings, fixed notions. It is also realized that this roadblock can be overcome only through persevering, persistent efforts. Not once in a way doing anything, no. Even when we are involved in various activities, at least a portion of the mind should dwell on this. At the subconscious level at least. This is how we try to limit the outgoing tendencies of the mind. Therefore, our spiritual preceptors reiterate that what can be first done is to realize that the sense of individuality cannot exist by itself. It cannot exist by itself. It owes its very existence to the source, the first cause, God, the higher power. It can be through various, how to do that? It can be through various channels. Our spiritual preceptors reiterate what can be first done is to realize that the sense of individuality cannot exist by itself. It owes its very existence to the source, namely the first cause, God or higher power. This process will gradually tame the sense of individuality and make it subservient to the higher power rather than allowing it to arrogate itself as absolute. We know that without life we cannot exist. No? We have only understood intellectually, so we will try to feel the presence of the life force. No? We try to become aware of the life force. We try to become aware of the awareness. This cannot be put in words. Thereafter, the sense of individuality will start. How do we know that? No? Because none of us can retire from our respective fields and sit on this. So we have to carry on this as well as with our preoccupations, which God has allotted to us. So while handling men and matters outside, this dimension should weigh more. That our life's purpose is to understand the source. I should become one with Him. I cannot exist without Him. So this should be there. When it comes, how does it express? Thereafter, the sense of individuality will start dealing with men and matters, not just from the me and mind level. My rights and wrongs, my likes and dislikes, that is the me and mind level. As is done now, but from a higher level. How do I know that it is from the higher level? Bearing the stamp of love, harmony and peace. Probably we can term it as the first step. No? Whether I deal with men and matters, right from morning I get up till I retire to bed, when I deal with anything, with any person, any situation, is it from the me and mind level or a little higher level? Here we have to change. To remind ourselves of this fundamental need to go to the source, we repeat papas. Okay. It's an attempt now to draw the attention of all of us to the salient requisite on the spiritual path, becoming aware of the source. And another tangible gain is, if done so, it will also facilitate the development of the right relationship between the individual and God, Bhakta and Bhagavan, as well as the individual and co-creation. The first step is goal of life and the obstacles of the path. The one aspiration of all sadhaka is to attain peace eternal, which is a freedom from the bondage of all limitation. Our spiritual preceptors keep on reminding us that there does exist within everybody a state of perfect freedom in which no fetters can shackle the person, a state which is unchanging and eternal, which is made up of light, power and peace. Some attributes of the indwelling reality, light, power and peace. One aspect, one facet. But the question remains, what are the obstacles that are to be removed to enter into this everlasting kingdom, and what qualifies one such an adventure. So here Papa gives us clarity. A self-created and very strong wall of separation shuts the individual from the view and experience of the immortal realm, and this wall is the individual sense or ego. The eradication of the ego sense only befits the individual for achievement of the loftiest perfection of the transcendent truth. As the dam obstructs the free flow of the stream, as a clog within the flute permits not the outpouring of melodious notes, as an ill-tuned stringed instrument cannot produce charming music, as the dimmed glass does not lend itself to the reflection of light through it, so the ego, with which an individual is obsessed, is the one hindrance to the spontaneous revealment of the indwelling divine power and joy. Remove the dam, allow the waters of the stream with all its pristine purity to flow in a sparkling current. Empty the flute of its clogged matter, OFF, and you play upon it to produce a celestial melody. Tune the instrument, you draw from it the most entrancing music. Clean the glass, you permit the light to pass through it with a glorious brilliance. Similarly, eliminate the ego sense from your life, and that instant you liberate life to realize its oneness with the immortal truth, its oneness with the entire universe, its oneness with the infinite power, its oneness with the everlasting joy. Oneness with. So we try now the inward journey, exploring the origin. The ultimate answer for scaling the heights in spirituality, as clearly emphasized by scriptures and masters, is to realize our origin, the source of all sources, which is the common factor in all. This alone can remove the sense of otherness, which is the seed bed of ignorance expressing in the form of me and mine. However, when we delve into our existence, normally we attribute our origin to our parents. Exploration starts now. A little more probing reveals that although initially we thought that our parents were the source of our origin, we can soon infer, intellectually at least, that they were merely the instrumental causes, because they were also born to their parents, who were in turn born to their own parents, and so on. At best, we may be able to trace back a few generations, but not all the way to the first cause, the original source. So now our effort should be to know the first cause, origin from which everything has sprouted, including us. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord explains that He is the eternal seed from which everything has come forth. Bijam Mam Sarvabhutanam. An inward journey in this direction, with the help of Shastras, enables us to become aware that from the absolute source, the eternal seed, came the relative seeds in the form of the five elements. The Taittiriya Upanishad illustrates it thus: from the self, Atman, space arose, from space, air, from air, fire, from fire, water, from water, the earth, from the earth, plants and trees, from plants and trees came food, from food, semen, from semen, the person. Taittiriya Upanishad elaborately discusses. It is also explained that the five elements have the following attributes. No, so we start with the five elements, you know. That is why when the body is cremated, all the five elements return back to their own. The water in us, the heat in us, the air in us, the space that we occupy, and the matter content. It comes out in the form of ashes, no? Earth. Think. So all these things have been assembled properly. There are certain spiritual laws he has designed, and based upon that the assembling takes place, and then the dismantling also takes place according to the unalterable spiritual and physical law. And to know that so now we know relatively we came from the five elements, though originally from him through the five elements. So the five elements have the following attributes. Space means sound, it's not means. Space can be, how can we understand space, It is not tangible. So the Upanishad says, sound. The sound can exist only in a void. We have to do a lot of exploring in each and everything. And air, sound and touch. Fire, sound, touch, color and form. Water, sound, touch, form and taste. Earth, sound, touch, form, taste and smell. Each element evolved from the previous and therefore has the attributes of the previous element with something more. You can imagine the spiritual scientists who explored this and gave out this for the sake of helping the spiritual aspirants to plumb deep. Just like these material scientists have unearthed so many things in every division. Suppose when I get fever, the reasons, the pathology they developed, and the pathology tells these are all the things because of which the fever has come. And then he has brought out herbs, medicines also, to set right the machine. Similarly, spiritual scientists also explored, and they have diagnosed now. The pathological report has come, diagnose what exactly is the problem we are facing. So they have now given a prescription by which we try to understand everything, the source, that is the medicine. Probing and pondering over these elements which constitute our being, and also that of everything else in the creation, reveals that all these five elements stand for eternal values. At no time we should think that this is separate from what we are experiencing out also. Then it becomes one-sided. So the eternal values represent, that is the one which knits everything together, which is helping us to identify the common factor, which is helping us to go to the source. So the air, the space represent all-inclusiveness. Everything is accommodated in this, And all-enveloping love. Air is the purifier. Fire is the energizer. Water characterizes adaptability. Earth, patience. Sustain, we can say patience, sustenance. Sustenance. Patience is the word for eternal values, so nothing wrong, but we have to add this. Other one, earth, passion. As the entire creation, including us, is a composition of these elements in innumerable combinations and variations, these qualities are inherent in everyone and everything, from the minutest to the grossest. The me and mine keeps us floating on the surface and prevents us from becoming aware, the inherent core of our being. Papa again says, life's values are not to be set by mere external rules and regulations or conditions and circumstances, but by an all-comprehensive knowledge of the great power which lies at its inception. That is not getting stuck with anything else, We must always remind ourselves. It is from what vision and from what knowledge the life is regulated that matters. So the first and foremost thing for everyone to do is to find out the immortal root of this being and look upon the external life from the consciousness of this root. This then life will adjust itself most harmoniously with the lives of all beings and creatures in this world. Know the source and be free. These are all the words of Papa. Thus becoming aware of our core by tracing our steps backwards and making it the permanent basis for all of our life's activities will ensure that we can perceive the one in the many. The seed in the tree, the formless in the forms. When we reach there, This is what masters and scriptures say that, At the moment, we are refrain. Okay. So the source of I amness. Now the first move is to find out my source. The first move toward the source is to look at our own beginning. We then realize that when we were conceived by our mother nature, the present me and mine were not there. Simple truth. We are fully obsessed by me and mine, but a little probing, exploration to the origin will reveal that this me and mine was not there at the time of our mother conceiving us. This attests to the fact that the human birth was given to us not as planned or executed by us. Nisargadatta Maharaj explained this point as, what are the essentials to which you consider as you? Obviously the body. But this body that is now in its prime, healthy, strong, was once a little drop or a speck of chemical matter when conception took place in your mother's womb. Think, did you, the present you, do anything to be conceived? Did you, the present me, want to be conceived? Were you consulted? Further, what is it that was latent in the tiny speck of matter which was conceived that caused it to grow into a fully developed baby with blood, flesh, marrow, bones, first in your mother's womb and thereafter in this world until it is now sitting before me discussing philosophy? The body has, during its growth, assumed various images which you have considered to be you at different times, but no single image has remained with you constantly. And yet, there is something which has indeed remained without any change. Is that not your sense of being alive and present? The consciousness which gives sentience and energy to the psychosomatic apparatus known as the body. This consciousness is given various names, beingness, I amness, self, Atman, and also other names like Maya, God, love, etc. The world exists for you only if this consciousness is there. C capital. If you are not conscious, as in deep sleep, can the world exist for you? Now, do you get some idea of what it is that makes you instinctively think of yourself as you? First it started, is at the body. Now, how to transcend the body, These are all some of the ways, How to transcend the body, mind, intellect. Now do you get some idea of what it is that makes you instantly think of yourself as you, this composite of the physical body, the life force, prana, which is the active principle, and consciousness, which enabled the physical senses to cognize things. What you appear to be is the outer body, What you are is consciousness. These are all the fence we are putting to our mind, so that it doesn't go out. And now God, the primary cause. When the intellect pleads its inability to find the first cause, Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the following shlokas answers these fundamental questions by making us understand intellectually first that God is the uncaused cause, the eternal seed of all creations. Then we keep on repeating the slokas. Etat yonini bhutani sarvani atyupadarayaha aham krishnasya jagata prabhava pralayastata. Know that all beings and living beings are manifested by these two energies of mine. I am the source of the entire creation, and into me it again dissolves. In the universe, everything is constituted of these two, Chit and Ajit, consciousness and matter. Through these two natures, the Lord is the Through these two natures, conscious and matter, the Lord is pointing out to the origin and dissolution of the whole universe. Punyogandha prithivyam cha tejaschasmi bhavaso jivanam sarvabhuteshu tapaschasmi tapasrishu. I am the pure fragrance of the earth and the brilliance in fire. I am the life force in all beings and the penance of the ascetics. The spirit expressing itself through man, animal and plant gives rise to the many living creatures found in the universe. In other words, wherever we see life, we see the spirit in action. Or we could say, life is God or God is life. Our hearts beat about 1 lakh times a day, about 35 million times a year. It pumps 6 liters of blood through 1,20,000 kilometers of blood vessels in a day. In 1 second, we are producing 1.2 million red blood cells to replace an equal number that die. The air which we breathe but cannot see contains oxygen, which is exchanged for the excess of carbon dioxide inside and then thrown out without us even knowing about it. All this clearly demonstrates, beyond doubt, that there are two sides to ourselves. Let us call them the body and the life force, or man and God. These are experts from the book Power of Love by Dr. Bhujanga Shetty. So again, Bijam Mam Sarvabhudanam Vidhi Partha Sanadanam Buddhir Buddhivatam Asmi Tejas Tejasvinamaham. O Arjuna, know that I am the eternal seed of all beings. I am the intellect of the intelligent, or the intelligence of the intellect, and the splendor of the glorious. Man holds in him the seed of infinite power. This seed is the origin of heavens and earth, of the whole world and creatures in it. When man realizes that he is born of this seed, he opens up the channel through which flows into him the light and power of this immortal seed, says Papa. Gadir Bharta Prabhu Sakshi Nivasa Sharanam Suhrud Prabhava Pralayasthanam Nidanam Bijam Avyayam. I am the supreme goal of all living beings, and I am also their sustainer, master, witness, abode, shelter, friend. I am the origin, the end, the resting place of creation. I am the repository and eternal seed. A normal seed cannot be immutable. A seed decays when the plant comes out. That is why a seed is called mutable. But here is a seed which is immutable. Life force in the form of food transforms itself into the self-propagating seed. That is why, our great-grandparents, up to that we start from that for our study's sake. When we say self-propagating, we should know. Grandparents, they come from the seed. So they gave the seed to the parents. They gave the seed to the us. No? That is self-propagating. Life force in the form of food transforms itself into the self-propagating seed. Usually when the seed sprouts and becomes a sapling, the seed is no longer in its previous form. However, the eternal seed is immutable and ever existent. While allowing it to sprout, it doesn't exit itself. The infinity is but a witness of the finite, inasmuch as the self is an uninterested illuminator of what is happening in the harem of intellect, in the arena of the mind, the courtyard of the body, and the wide expanse of the world without. Quotes from Chimyanandi. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarva pavartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. I am the origin of all creation. Everything proceeds from me. The wise who know this perfectly worship me full of love in their hearts. A living human personality, full of concern for others. You can go near and feel happy in his or her company. That kind of a rich human personality, emotionally rich, attracts others. Any system that destroys the emotions of a human being will destroy the humanity itself. Without emotion, there is no meaning to human life. When he says, I am the origin of all creation, everything proceeds from me, the wise who know this perfectly worship me full of love in their hearts. That is why this explanation of Ranganathananji has been put. Sarganam adirantasya madhyam cheva aham arjuna adhyatma vidya vidyanam vada pravadatam aham. O Arjuna, know me to be the beginning, middle and end of all creation. Amongst the sciences, I am the science of spirituality, and in debates, I am the logical conclusion. Just to ensure that we are on the proper line, this helps us. This spiritual inquiry into ourselves is also a gift given by him. So the Lord says, amongst the sciences, I am the science of spirituality. So he has blessed us, to take up this. The names and forms have risen up from him, are supported by him, shall be merged back in him when they are destroyed. Slightly change that. Yachavi sarvabhutanam bijam tadaham arjuna natat asti vina yad yasyan, maya bhudam charajaram. I am the generating seed of all beings. No creature moving or non-moving can exist without me. These are all from Bhagavad Gita. The rudimentary shoot and root are packed up. The rudimentary shoot and root are packed up in the tiny seed. Under favorable conditions, the dormant life content in the seed can manifest itself, and before long, the germinated seed can grow out in inconceivable heights, which may thereafter look as though they have no relation with the seed from which it arose. That is the problem we are all facing now. Under favorable conditions, the dormant life content in the seed can manifest itself, and before long, the germinated seed grows out into inconceivable heights, which may thereafter look as though they have no relation with the very seed from which it arose. Viewing only the finite world of plurality, to one who is mourning under the sledgehammer of change and constant death, the samsara may not show as having anything divine, infinite or blissful as the source from which it had come. Viewing only, if I do it from the me and mine level, finite world of plurality. I get disconnected with the source. That is the meaning. Mama yonir mahat brahma tasmin garbham dadamyaham swabhava sarvabhutanam, sambhava sarvabhutanam tato bhavati bharata. My womb is the real Brahman. In it I place the seed. From that, O Bharata, is the birth of all beings. In today's genetics, it is found that new lives come from the joining of one element with another. Through these twofold Prakriti, the Brahman and Shakti, one is the power of the other. The whole universe comes into being. So the Lord is the one who is to activate this Prakriti to start this kind of genetic process. Okay. Sarvayonishu Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavantiya Tasam Brahma Mahadyonir Aham Bija Pradapita. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. Everywhere, the birth of an organism is nothing but an expression of spirit through a given matter envelopment. Thus, every matter particle is the womb which, when dynamized by the light of consciousness, becomes a potential living being. Every expression of life is matter containing within its bosom a tiny spark of the spirit. Words of Chinmayananda. From the above shlokas, it becomes clear that our source is God and God alone. God is also expressive in the form of life force, awareness absolute, not awareness of something. Awareness itself, awareness absolute. Fullness, consciousness, the creative force, the sustaining power, that which motivates towards constant change, primordial intelligence, and that which governs the universe by physical and spiritual laws, the ever-present, all-pervading essence or spirit, which binds everything in the universe together, gives life to everything. Now we are tightening the fence, so that it should not go out. Beloved Papa Swami Ramdas refers to God as the subtle and mysterious power, which is the indwelling and all-pervading reality. To ensure that human beings live a comfortable life, the subtle and mysterious power, God, keeps on empowering its selected instruments, human instruments, with the needed intelligence to discover, invent, and innovate creature comforts, including languages, out of what has been provided through Mother Nature. In other words, everything that exists owes its origin to that intelligence absolute. So up to this, we will now, tomorrow we'll take it up. Tomorrow Sunday. So lot of, all of you may kindly.
What is the book?
What is the book?
It is in the making.
Pardon?
It is in the making and will. Forget about the book. We started with, we want to become one with him. So,
Very deep.
So we want to become one with him.
Yes.
So through Vichara Marga, when we go, these are all the things that will help us. We will also deal with the Bhakti Marga later. Because our present generation needs a harmonious blend of these two. Because none of us can retire to a cave. None of us can resort to solitude where we carry on with this Vichara Marga. After hearing this, we are again back to our own fields, where the me and mine will come back and own us. So both we should combine. So at the moment, Papa is giving us some what do you call the GPS of the Vichara Marga. So day after tomorrow, we will continue this and then try to see how are we really moving toward the source of all sources. Even now, with whatever that has registered in your mind, all of you may kindly, you may not be able to remember everything, but certainly whatever these have been read out or shared many a time before. So it might be possible for all the devotees to dwell on some aspects of it. So we will start our inner exploration in our own way, and let us see how he feeds us further from Monday onwards. Is that clear so far?
Yes, Swami, yes, Swami. But I take notes, I mean, freely. Right from Chinmayananji, I do that.
Right from Chinmayananji, we know that.
Yeah. Okay. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai